What is up, everybody, from our AT&T 5G virtual studios? Welcome on into the Call Up. I'm Susannah Collins. That is Jillian Sakovitz. Lovely to see you as always, my dear.
So good to see you. Good episode today.
Such a good episode today. We are talking to Jonathan Mensah of the Columbus Crew. Plus, we got a +1 situation on this episode.
+1.
His incredible wife, who finally just was able to join him in the States. They were separated for a really long period of time.
You know how they say if it rains or all these terrible things that happen on your wedding day, then you're like in for it? Well, when I went to Ghana in January of 2019, they had just gotten married the week before.
Aww.
She's finally in Ohio after 2 years. And I'm like, if you have to deal with that much separation to start off your marriage, you are off to a good start.
Before we get into here for this, I just have to tell you a very enlightening and funny little story that I heard relating to our podcast. So the other day I was on, there's this Women of MLS kind of like monthly chat, and everyone gets in a Zoom room, and then they get into these like little breakout rooms, and we were recommending like books or podcasts to each other. And of course I was like, well, hey, if you haven't heard of the Call Up, then everybody should be listening to it. Of course they all did. But then Adrienne Barber, who works at MLS, she's an avid listener. Hello, Adrienne. We appreciate you.
Hey.
She tells the group, she's like, P.S. I have this amazing tip for listening to podcasts. You put it on 1.5 and listen to it, and you can just kind of like plow through. And I didn't even know this feature was available.
I'm a big fan.
But then she was like, Susannah, I listened to you in 1.5 speed, you and Jillian on 1.5 speed all the time. And so when I'm listening to you now and hearing you talk at a normal pace, she's like, it feels really strange. And I was like, oh my God, because I think I talk fast anyway. But then I listened to one of our episodes on 1.5, and Jill, it sounds like I was just pounding coffee all day. Did an episode, it was just like, and I was like, I think because it was just like our voices and my voice in particular, which I find particularly jarring, like it was very unsettling for me to hear that at that speed.
When I accidentally begin to play our pod, it's jarring at first. It's really hard to listen to your own voice. And I can imagine listening to us at 1.5 is actually a little bit more enjoyable. If you can listen to the Call Up at like that speed, I'm so here for that.
I mean, I just want people to listen in any way, shape, or form. So if you slow it down, you speed it up, whatever you do, we appreciate you. We're going to start our Here for Thises, and but before, I see you're wearing a very cool jersey. Can you please?
Can't find these anywhere.
Can you please tell us about this?
So this is the Hungarian national team jersey. Tough find. They held their own in Tuesday's game against Cristiano Ronaldo in Portugal. 0-0 into the 80s, and then but credit to Hungary through 80 minutes. Heck yeah! And you know what? I just want to. I was posting about my Hungary jersey saying, let's go Hungary. I'm a proud Hungarian American. But today was a little bit of I was torn. Today. I was excited to put on my jersey. Mm-hmm. I've had this game circled on my calendar for quite some time. But it's Pride Month. And there is an increasingly scary, xenophobic, homophobic, racist, anti-Semitic trend in Hungary at the moment. So you know me, I'm a news junkie. I get on, I type in Hungary thinking I'm going to read all about the Euros game. And this pops up that on the same day of their first game in the Euros competition, they also passed some increasingly anti-LGBTQ legislation. And I felt really torn because when you may not agree with what the U.S. is doing, you still support the U.S. women's or men's national teams, right? But I would be remiss if during Pride Month particularly, or any time of the year, that you don't just kind of acknowledge that and that I am disgusted by it. My grandfather fled Hungary as someone who was being persecuted. So to see 70 years later, persecution continuing, I'm proud and disgusted at the same time. So again,
and that's okay. I think it's a fair position to be in.
So I think if we've learned anything this year, it's that you can't always just stick to sports. So while I wanted to be hoorah for Hungary, I felt like I couldn't wear the jersey without just acknowledging that I'm not okay with that.
No, it's fair.
And I stand by all of our people over there that are maybe being ostracized at the moment.
Absolutely. Well said. And again, I think it is a perfectly justifiable way to feel right now. And it's okay. It's okay to look at your country or anything that you might have pride in ultimately, but you can look at it through a critiqueful eye and say, look, like a lot of what you're doing is wrong. And I think that is how we improve. That is how we progress as a society. So good on you for taking that stance and speaking your mind. Speaking of jerseys, Jill, time for Here for This. Okay. So I do enjoy, every time there is a new jersey, like this happens a lot with the Premier League. Like whenever Liverpool, they announce their new kits, there's always a site that gets it out first, the leak. It's out there. And then you can kind of be like, oh, I love this, or, oh, I hate this.
Do we believe in leaks anymore?
I feel like 9 times out of 10, they're ultimately true. So somebody's feeding this information to somebody, like, let's create a little buzz. Let's get it going on social media.
Of things, the amount of times I know that they're fake leaks, that I just want a real leak.
Exactly. Everything gets leaked at this point. So it's definitely strategic in some way, shape, or form. But the U.S. men's national team's new away kits got leaked. Okay. And I have thoughts. They are very, very bold, very geometric, but it's this sort of red and blue block pattern, kind of an 80s, 90s. It looks like a Mondrian painting. One of the, Mondrian, the modern artist that you see, it was all the blocks. It was like the primary color blocks. It was on the cover of like my algebra book or something. But Mondrian is a modern artist.
I'm looking it up now. Okay.
And that's what it reminded me of. And I was like, oh. And so
now I know.
Do you know what I mean? You've definitely seen it, like on postcards and stuff. Exactly. They pop up everywhere. But that's what it reminded me of. And my initial reaction, Jill.
So are you here for that?
I don't think I'm here for it.
Are you listening, U.S. Soccer?
I don't think. Do you know what? Here's the thing. I love when they redesigned the new badge, the new crest. Mm-hmm. I was obsessed. It's so clean. It's just I was so excited about it, and I like how they kind of went back to this sort of more classic look. And not to say like sometimes I like the real funky jerseys, but this was just this is a little too much.
So I'm going to tell for our viewers that are at home listening, it's navy and red, kind of looks like a puzzle. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to say that this is a puzzle to the World Cup and that they know that they need all their pieces to get to the World Cup.
Okay, next up. This is wild, Jill. So
I love this.
As the universe knows, I am a diehard Chicago Cubs fan. I was watching the game the other night with my dad. I believe it was on ESPN. And they pan to a shot of the fans at Wrigley Field, and it's great. They're at full capacity again. It's just amazing to see all these stadiums filled up after what we've all gone through. So you're just kind of enjoying these shots of the spectators, and then they cut to the shot, and it looked like initially, it almost looked like a vacuum tube, kind of crawling down one of the sections, and I was like, what is that? And it was moving and people were kind of passing it along. Jill, I would like to introduce you to the latest phenomenon in sports crowd. It's called beer snake. Beer snake. So basically everyone was taking their empty beer cups and collecting them, stacking them one on top of the other until it made this literally ginormous snake, and they were passing along. It's kind of like a new reiteration of the wave, except it's called a beer snake. And I was like, well, this is weird. kind of creative. But then my mind goes, I'm like, ooh, we're still technically in a pandemic, and I don't know how sanitary this
Suze,
is.
it's not a funnel.
That's where my mind went, though. And so it kind of like took me out of all the fun of it. And I was like, oh, I don't know how I feel about it. But I like it more than the wave because I hate the wave. Hate it. Not here for the wave.
This beer snake is just the perfect case study of human beings who have been locked up for way too long. That a bunch of grown adults are going to stack their cups together and literally make maybe a 300-foot snake in their downtime. These aren't kids. These are adults, and I'm so here for it. I want to make a beer snake, and then I want to drill a giant hole through the beer snake, and I want to take a funnel out of it.
Okay. Ooh, you're taking it to the next level. I like where your head's at. How long do you think before we see a beer snake in an MLS stadium? I feel like this is going to be something that happens very soon.
Challenge.
Yeah.
Challenge. What do they call it? A call to action in our meeting?
Call to action.
Call to action, MLS fans.
Beer snake.
You will be featured on the call up if you can bring the beer snake to an MLS stadium near you.
But maybe just wipe it down with some Clorox wipes.
Our good friend here on the call up, and perhaps if there's ever going to be an MLS player nominated for a Academy Award, is that movies?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Susannah.
Yep.
Sierra Leone qualified for the African Cup of Nations for the first time in 25 years off a penalty kick from Kai Kamara.
It had to be Kai. It had to be Kai Kamara.
So very proud.
Cool.
Proud mamas over here.
Proud
boy,
mamas.
Kai
Way
Kamara.
to go. Way to go. Kai.
Also, Father's Day is ahead. And that always begs the question. There's two types of dads out there, Susannah Collins.
Yep.
There's the dads who say, I know what I want. I want a bag cart for my golf bag. I want, I don't know, something for my boat, whatever dads want. And then they're saying, don't get me anything. Don't get me anything. And I'll be honest, because my family's in 35 different places right now, we celebrated Father's Day a couple weeks early. Beautiful moments, memories together. But I told myself that, oh, Jill, now you've got time to get your father something. Have not done that yet.
Yeah.
Because the man says he doesn't want anything. How do you handle that?
Lou and John, my father, I think are very similar. I feel like they're a little bit of kindred spirits, okay? Like my dad, he still clips coupons. You know, I mean, he's been wearing the same pair of jeans for like 25 years. The guy does not spend money on himself. He doesn't want anything. He gets mad. This is the thing. He gets mad.
So then problem solved. My brother and I,
right? But here's the thing. So my brother and I, he gets mad at us when we spend any sort of money on him. But then when the day comes, it's like, oh, well, it's Father's Day. What? No, nothing. So that has happened a few times.
That's a curveball I wasn't expecting.
Exactly. And then so we had this like family discussion. My brother and I are trying to figure out like what we do for my father for Father's Day. If there's a gift we can go in on, and we're throwing out all these ideas. And my mom is just sitting there like shaking her head. She's like, I've stopped getting him anything. She's like, it's impossible. It's impossible. And so we're just going to cook like a really nice meal for him and have like a big, kind of barbecue. And that's going to be his present. So it looks like we're, making an effort, and we are, and we want to celebrate him. He is the best.
Wait, quote it.
No gift.
Looks like we're making an
effort. No gift, because it's too stressful. And I'm very curious to kind of to survey our viewers and listeners about like where they stand on this, because I feel like dudes are so hard to buy for, fathers in particular, and it stresses me out trying to think of creative gifts.
Because we're thoughtful.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not going to apologize for that. You know what also, Susannah, something I've really mastered in my later years is logging on to Word and going to templates and then hitting cards.
Oh,
and
yes.
you pick 3 pictures off your Facebook from like 20 years ago. I literally make a card like I'm maybe 11 years old.
That's adorable.
Goes a real long way.
That's a really, anything personalized.
Because it's
like
a gift. It evokes memories. And those word art cards have been doing real well for me lately. Time now for our AT&T 5G call to the field. Columbus Crew captain and defender, the man himself. He just got a new piece of hardware. Jonathan Mensah.
Yay!
How are you? I miss you.
I'm doing well. How about yourself? I miss you too. Hopefully I'll see you soon. When do we play ATO? I have to look at the calendar again.
Columbus hosts Atlanta, I think, in August. My fingers are crossed that our TV crews will be back on the road. Then.
Yeah.
Columbus right now, Jonathan, is sitting in 6th place in the Eastern Conference. It's still very early on in the season. How would you assess the Columbus Crew so far to start off this 2021 season?
I think we started off well. We tied our first game. We went on the road. I think we played at home again and won against DC. It was a little challenging, a couple of changes here and there. We lost 2 games in a row, so it was a rough moment for the team, but we came together and won 2 in a row. Of course, as a champion, every team is going to play you like a champion. So we need to be ready for the fight. We need to be ready for different things, teams are going to throw at us. And I think we've done well so far.
Yeah, Jonathan, no pressure or anything, but in my preseason predictions, I picked the Crew to repeat. The first team to repeat as MLS Cup champion since 2012. I picked the MVP to be Lucas Zelarayan, and I said that Jazzy Zardes was going to win the Golden Boot. So I went all in on Columbus.
Really did.
And people, it was, I would say, I'm not going to say a slow start because I feel like you guys were you're playing so much soccer and Champions League and all of that. So I'm not worried about you guys, but can you just do me a solid and, maybe kind of nudge your boys a little bit and be like, look, Susannah put all her eggs in one basket here. So.
Okay. I will.
Thank you.
Tomorrow morning.
Light a little fire underneath them, It
maybe a little smoke, and then we talk about the fire later on.
It couldn't hurt. Speaking of, Jill brought up the new hardware, the rings that you just got. Do you have it nearby? Can we see this thing? Because it looked so cool in pictures. Do you have it around? Can you show us?
You want me to show you now?
Yes.
Okay. Here it is.
Oh my goodness.
Got my name on it. Man. Okay, so let's see.
Yeah, give us the full tour of the ring.
Yeah, okay, put it right up in the camera. Let's see this thing.
So underneath the ring, it says "Wise Men Say." I don't know if you see it.
Yeah, that is cool.
And then you go the results from the playoffs.
Oh, wow.
So the 4 games in the playoffs, you got my jersey number 4. You got my name.
Look at that.
You got MLS Cup champs on top. You got MLS Cup on top here. And then you go the Crew badge here.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go some bling bling. I'm not a bling bling guy, but they gave me some bling bling. So
I feel like in this case you could be a bling bling guy. Make an exception. Make an exception for the championship ring, right?
Yeah, maybe just for once. Yeah.
Where does it sit in your house? Do you wear it every day around the house, like for fun, or is it on a shelf?
So it's actually somewhere in one of the rooms. I actually wore it just, for the ceremony, and then I just put it somewhere. We won it, so I don't need to be showing it. Everyone knows we won it, so I just need to put it down and go back to work. That's it.
Oh, okay.
So is this going to be the type of thing where you only put it on when people ask you to? Are you just going to kind of keep it nicely tucked away, or maybe for special occasions?
Maybe on an occasion like this, then I just bring it out.
The call up. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're honored.
Oh, for sure, for sure. It's a special show, so we need to give it a special treat.
Thank you. Well, we're in for a lot of treats
No
here
problem.
today. The team's final match, Jonathan, at Historic Crew Stadium is set for this weekend. You've been with the crew for some incredible moments, some difficult moments, team captain. What are your emotions heading into this weekend?
It's gonna be incredible. You know, of course, we know it's been great playing at this particular stadium, not just for the crew, but for the U.S. national team, for the women's national team, and a couple of other countries playing at this stadium. Like, you know, the name is now it's a historic stadium. We need to send it off on a good note. I remember I scored my first goal at that stadium against FC Dallas. Such a great moment for me. I'll never forget that. Of course, my first goal in MLS, so it's always going to be something that I recall so very well. And it was at that particular stadium. So, man, first soccer specific stadium in the United States, and now we're gonna you know, send it off on a good note on Saturday. So we just need to give it a great send off.
No, it's going to be emotional. I'm emotional thinking about it. It was a really kind of hallowed ground in soccer, but I'm very excited about the new stadium as well. You're just going to make more and more memories in the new stadium. You know,
it's like getting a new house.
Exactly.
Yeah.
New beginning.
It's been incredible for us at that old stadium, but as time goes on, you need to improve, you need to progress, and of course, we're not leaving to go into something lesser than that. We're going into a new stadium, which is going to be, you know, in my opinion, one of the best in the league. You guys will come there to see for yourself.
Yes, we will.
So, yeah, excited about that.
Yeah, we are too. It's going to be great for the city as well. Jonathan, Jill, I know that you two spent some time together in Ghana when Jill was doing the Beyond the Stands piece with you. And she told me about the story of you getting discovered, essentially that launched your professional soccer career. And it's a really, really interesting story because you were growing up in the mining town of the Ashanti region in Ghana. But then there was kind of a tryout with maybe 500, 600 people, and you were picked. Can you tell us this story?
Oh,
Don't be shy.
So, no, I won't be shy. So, one afternoon, I was just at home minding my business. We actually came from a soccer game, you know, just two areas playing against each other. So I was there, and this guy came to tell me, hey, there's a tryout going on at the Ashanti Gold Football Club. And I'm like, really? Okay, so so what am I supposed to do? You know, like, what do you do to get into that? He was like, oh, you just need to get ready, get your cleats, whatever, your, you know, jerseys, and then we go. So I was like, yeah, are you sure I'm good enough for this? Because I was 16, 17 that time. And I was coming off high school, so I didn't know what I was going to do after high school, obviously waiting for my results, and then I continue my education. But soccer was something that I really loved to do. I played in school, so when it was like, hey, try out for a professional team, I was like, okay, let's go. So we went, and then there you see thousands of players from all over the region, like all over the country, coming to try out too. And then I'm like, wow. So I was nervous. I was like, man. So I looked at the guy and I'm like, hey, can we leave and come some other time? He was like, no, this is just for like some period of time. So if we leave, it's over. I'm like, man, I don't know, man. So he's like, no, you can do it. So I got in there. It was my turn. It was like 15 minutes or 30 minutes each game. And then I changed. It was my turn to go out to play, I think, 2 halves or 15. I went there, played, and then, you know, we were selected to go on the other side. And I was like, okay, are we the ones that are going home or something? So, I was still nervous. I was scared, but it happens to be that a team that was chosen to go to the other side was the team that we're going to move on. So I was like, wow, I can't believe, I'm moving on. They mentioned the list. We went again, and then the coach kind of called me, spoke to me, hey, where are you from? Where have you played before? And I'm like, nowhere. I played in school, played for a coach team in our area. So he was like, oh, okay. So as that kept going on, I was like, I started to kind of like calm down because the coach has actually spoken to me. And, so the guy was like, hey, keep going. He would look me from the side and he would be like, hey, keep going, keep going. So tryouts was over. And then I was part of the three guys they chose from hundreds of people to come to this tryout. So I was like, my mind was like, I was still thinking about who, me? So then they kind of like, hey, give us, your contact, your parents' contact, because I was still young, 16, 17. And then they called my parents, hey, we would, like him to continue to train with us because we want to kind of like take a look at him. And then that was where everything started.
Wow.
Yeah.
What did your parents say? Were they like, yes, go be a professional soccer player? Or were they like, are you sure about this?
Yes. So they were like, are you sure? And I'm like, hey, I really love it. And they seems to like me. So I want to go try. They were like, oh, really? And I'm like, yes. You guys going to come with me to practice every day so you see where I go, where I train and everything. So it was really tough transition for me. But when they came to a couple of our training sessions and they saw, okay, a young guy that loves this thing so much and I had a passion for it, So they supported me and then this coach had all the confidence in me. So that was like the turning point for me because to have a coach at that age to believe in you, it was incredible. So, man, that journey, I remember he was like, he would look at me, he would coach me in a certain way. He didn't coach the other guys that, came on the team. So I was like, okay, maybe, he doesn't like me. Maybe he liked me.
And were you a defender then, Jonathan?
Yes. So I was playing a little right back, center back, but he just said, no, center back is the place for me.
Forever.
Oh, yeah. And he was like, no, you belong here. So I remember he would be screaming as we were doing the tryout. He would be like, so as a kid playing on rough surface and now I got green grass, I always wanted to slide tackle. So he would just be screaming at me, don't go down. So,
I gotta tell you, this guy, Jonathan Mensah, we went to like an art store where there were a bunch of tents and there was a big dirt field outside of Accra. And there was a bunch of kids, most of them playing without any shoes on. Jonathan's got a nice pair of shoes on. He gets right in there, just like slide tackles a couple kids, gets dust all over his shoes. He didn't care. He saw that dirt pitch and he just like could not even help himself.
Those were the fields that I started playing on.
It brought out your inner kid. Yes.
Oh yeah. So I kind of like it. I know how it feels, especially to see, because I used to see this defender, Jonathan Mensah, when he came back from professional, he would organize a gala and then we would go watch. That same feeling that the kids had, I had the same feeling. So I was like, hey, I'll jump in right on the spot and then, have fun with them. It was such a great time with the kids. So Yeah, so the coach will be screaming at me all the time, don't go down, don't go down. And then, I just stay on my feet. So, that thing is still with me. And, sometimes when I'm playing, there are a couple of moments where you need to tackle, you will, but most of the time I'm always on my feet because of that advice I got from my coach.
Caleb Porter is very appreciative,
I think,
of that coach.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Now, Jonathan, this Saturday, MLS clubs and the world are going to celebrate freedom on Juneteenth, a holiday that acknowledges the emancipation or freeing of those that were enslaved in the United States, a dark time in our country's history. Ghana was a major stop along the transatlantic slave trade route. Terrible. You've been in the U.S. now 5 years. You have a lot of diversity on your team. You got guys from South America, Africa, the Caribbean, and then you've got African Americans. What have those conversations been like, especially within the last year, where people are trying to make progress and around Black Lives Matter? What have those conversations around each other's experiences been like?
I think the whole team actually, with not just the players but with the staff, it was incredible, and the support. Of course, we all human and we all the same, even though we have different backgrounds, different ethnic groups that we from. We always had honest conversations, and conversations that we've never had before. We actually spoke a lot, and then other guys started to understand the some of the route and where we headed. Because of course, if you talk about us all being the same, then we will have an example like, oh, we all bleed the same. So okay, yeah. So that is one thing. You don't bleed different. I don't bleed different. We all bleed the same. So, we had serious conversations and honest conversations. So it actually helped a lot. Helped the dressing room because I'm not gonna say, oh, that he's blue, he's green. So he's gonna do his thing. I'm gonna do my thing. But we all came here for one goal, one purpose, and if we can come together in this fight, I believe we will win together.
Can you talk a little bit about, I can only imagine that an existence in Ghana is very different than an existence in Columbus, Ohio. Right. Can you kind of speak to maybe a little bit of culture shock that you perhaps experienced when you came to Columbus? Did you have any experiences that sort of made you think, wait a sec, oh, this is going to be something that I'm going to have to deal with now?
I think the transition to Columbus was actually the easiest for me since I started playing professionally. Because from the time I left Ghana, I haven't been to a country where they spoke English as they are not the first language, but the majority of the people speak English. So when I left Ghana, South Africa, Spain, a little bit of time in Italy, France, Russia, and then I'm coming to the US. Hopefully, God, there's going to be like a turning point for me where I won't, need a translator, or I have to struggle to learn the language. So it wasn't easy, but it was, the challenge the challenge wasn't as hard as me playing in Russia. Because now when the coach want to say something to me, he will call the translator. But here, I understood the language. I had a couple of the Ghanaians on the team. I had good people on the team. We still do. So it was challenging, but it wasn't as challenging as the previous places that I played in. And, Columbus is a great place. The people are amazing. So they made the transition easier for me. So I would say as compared to, let's say, Ghana or other places that I've played, Columbus will be the easiest for me.
Yeah.
And something else we like to hear about Jonathan is always the Jonathan Mensah Foundation. For those of you listening, you can go to GoFundMe / the Jonathan Mensah Foundation. You can also follow it on Twitter and Instagram. All these memories that Jonathan and I have, in Ghana. If you're wondering why are Jill and Jonathan hanging out in Ghana, it's because I got an incredible opportunity to feature the work and the selfless work that you do back at home in Ghana. And how selfless is this guy? An MLS offseason is very short, especially if you make the playoffs. You got married during the offseason, and the same week you got married, you welcomed Jill and 2 cameramen who came knocking on your door. Basically, we crashed your honeymoon, and you showed us all the philanthropic work that you do across Ghana. For those of you that want to watch it, you can go on YouTube and type in Beyond the Stands, Jonathan Mensah. But Jonathan, can you give the people just a quick update on all the work that you do?
So whenever I do these work, you know, like, I don't know how to explain this joy. It's unbelievable because, you know, this game of soccer has given me everything that I have now. Even my wife, I met my wife when I was going to do something about soccer. So it has paved the way for me and, you know, for the next generation. So whatever I can do to make a kid believe, make a kid have bigger goals and dreams, then, you know, that's all I'm doing. So, you know, we just trying to help, doing our best to help, you know, the next generation, not just through soccer, but, you know, different things. I actually partnered with this program that the one guy called Yam Popoankra, he called it Books and Boots. So before you can play, before you can wear the boots, you need to hold your books. So we kind of like adding the education together with the soccer. I know the system in the US is so set up great that kids get to go through the college system, they play in college and then they get drafted. That is so great. So he started a program like that, and I jumped in right away. He said, "Hey, I'm going to make you the ambassador of Books and Boots." Such a great program. So what Jonathan Mensah Foundation is doing is basically what this guy has been doing for a couple of years. We're looking to sponsor kids, sponsorships, scholarships here and there, buying books for them, boots, whatever, you know, anything that we can do to help a kid realize their dreams or progress in life, you know, that's what we are about. So my wife is actually always behind the scenes working, drawing plans, new programs on how we can help, you know, everyone that we can help. So we just out there to help, do our best, because whatever we are getting, we want to give back to the society as well. So it's a blessing, you know, to be able to bless others. So thanks for coming to my home. Thanks for highlighting what I do in Ghana when I'm not on the field. So I say thank you for also shedding light on what I do at home.
It was a pleasure to watch the orphanages, the schools for special education, and just everything that the Jonathan Mensah Foundation does. So check it out. And if you want, you can donate too. All right, you mentioned your wife doing so much behind the scenes, Jonathan. Now is the moment.
Where is she? Where's Kafui? Well, we could not be more excited to bring in, I'm going to say it, Jonathan's better half. We have Kafui Mensah, his beautiful wife, who is finally in Ohio with your husband. Oh, right. Kafui, we are so thrilled to have you on the pod. We're so thrilled that you and Jonathan are finally together. How are you adjusting to life in Ohio?
It's great. So far, I'm enjoying it. It's exciting, amazing people, very warm. So yeah, so far so good.
Okay, so I met you, Kafui, when you had been married maybe 1 week in December of 2019.
Right,
and you two had to wait 2+ years. You know, I know from having an international family, visas, green cards, it's a difficult process, but your hard work paid off, and Kafui is finally in Ohio. You arrived just about a month ago. Yes. So You look really cold at those Ohio games. And I texted you. I said, I promise the sun will come out. It will get better.
I hope. Okay,
Did you have to go buy so many? Did you have to go buy so many jackets and sweaters when you arrived in Ohio?
I had to. I think the first 2 days when I got in, I was like, I need to get to the store. I can't do this. I need to get to the store. So yeah, I had to get a few of those. Yeah.
Mall trip, major mall trip.
After spending that much time apart, and especially after what was just an incredibly difficult year for the entire world, how were you guys able to support each other despite the distance? You know, what was the key to just kind of, you know, maintaining that solidarity and staying a unit? How did you do it?
First off, it was crazy. It was really hard, but we just had to keep that focus. We have this thing, Jesus, Jonathan, and me, that triangle thing. And that's what has been keeping us together. So whatever it is, we know that, okay, we've got God on our side. We've got to hold hands to do it all. And then video calls. We're constantly on the phone, 24/7. Video calls. Once I'm away, we get back and, okay, baby, how was your day? We download, I download. We laugh about stuff. We pray about stuff. And that's kept us going virtually.
Faith, love, and FaceTime.
Oh, man. Sometimes, you know, we finish games a little late, and, you know, the time difference was wild, 4 hours, you know, so I would get home around midnight. She would still be up waiting for me to get home before she go to bed. Sometimes I get mad, like, sleep. I'll get home safe, but she will, no, I just need to make sure you're home safe. And, you know, she's been supportive, like, since we met, you know. So for us to be in different continents, and me working so hard, you know, not having anyone close to me. And, you know, of course, she had a family close by, but it wasn't the same, you know. We wanted to be together, and then, you know, it was hard, you know, pandemic and immigration, you know, all sort of things. But we had to draw the strength from God and from ourselves. So, and I will say the team, you know, the team really helped me. If you need grocery shopping, if you need anything, you ask them, they will be able to. So, with all that, I still needed her around. We couldn't be with each other, but thankfully we are now. So grateful for the sacrifices, and it paid off.
It paid off, I should say. So, yeah, hey, Kafui, I have to ask you, when Jonathan was playing in the MLS Cup final, and they ended up winning, where were you watching the game, and how soon after did he call you?
It gets me super emotional because, you know, my neighbor, our current neighbor, had to put me on a video call. Yes. So I had to watch the game via video call. And I was watching and crying and going through all the emotions all at once. And so when the whistle went, like, this is it, we won, I was all over the place, screaming, crying. I got people calling me, hey, we made it, we did it. I'm like, yes, God did it. It was exciting. And then he called, I think he called about 30 minutes to an hour after that, because of course they had to tend to the fans and go and raise the cup all over the place, go around the pitch. So yeah, he called after an hour. I went to crying again, of course, cried. We shared hugs through the phone. Yeah, so but that was it. It was crazy.
No pressure, Jonathan, but you kind of owe your wife a championship in person. I'm just throwing that out there. Yeah, I have one quick question for you, Jonathan, before we get to, we're going to throw you a little bit of, like, because you've been reunited, kind of like a wedding shower part 2 here on the call up. We love to throw baby showers. Suze, have we thrown a wedding shower?
No, we haven't.
No? We have not. First ever. But Jonathan, when we were in Ghana,
Right.
You told me you met your wife because you went and asked a question because she was working at the airport. Be honest. I'm putting the spotlight on you. Did you really have a question, or were you just looking for an excuse to talk to her?
No, I did. I did have a question.
Nah.
Yeah, I did have a question, but the question kind of led to, after I asked the question, she fell in love, and then we got married. That's it.
That's it.
Okay. Wedding shower part 2.
Let's
for you
go.
guys. Yeah, we're celebrating we are celebrating being reunited with a wedding shower for the Mensah family. So we'll start really simple. Who is the better soccer player? Yes. Okay.
Easy. Okay. Who is the better cook? Okay, we're 2 for 2.
Who's the better driver?
Oh. Okay, they're on the same page so far. Okay, who is more forgiving? Wow.
Okay, at least we're self-aware. Who is cleaner?
Come on, now, you know.
Oh! I love this. Who is the better dancer?
Ooh.
Be honest. I saw you two dance. I know who it is.
Okay. Oh my goodness. Okay.
I'd have, no offense, Jonathan, but I'd say Kafui was probably the better dancer. Who said I love you first? Who said I love you first?
Oh my goodness, this is great. Oh, I like this one. Okay. Who is funnier?
Oh.
Who takes longer to get ready to leave the house?
Oh, you're so mean.
Okay, and last one, because we want to see some baby Mensahs coming soon. Who wants more kids?
Yay!
Wow.
What's on tap? We will not be seeing the crew play at their new home, lower.com field, for a few more weeks. Just hold on, people. But Saturday will mark the final match. End of an era, Susannah Collins, at historic Crew Stadium. So make sure that you tune in at 7:30 Eastern Time as Columbus takes on the Chicago Fire on ESPN Plus and DAZN.
Love it. So many memories there. But Jill,
as cold memes.
Very cold. Yes, I remember just being consistently cold there. But as one chapter ends on a stadium, we have another one that is just beginning. Austin FC plays their first home match this Saturday at the brand new Q2 Stadium. Attendance guidelines are going to allow 100% capacity right off the bat. But our big question, Matthew McConaughey, what does he have in store for this match? Because he's going to be there. He's going to be there. I want to know what the get-up's going to be. I'm feeling like a bandana, like a green bandana, maybe around the forehead, the hair kind of flowing out. Very, very excited to see what he has in store for us. Oh, all right.
Honestly, these blue light glasses have served as many a prop.
They really have.
Anyway.
Guys, make sure to tune in on Saturday for Austin FC's home opener against San Jose. That's at 9 p.m. Eastern on Unimas, TUDN, Twitter, and DAZN.
And reminder, MLS celebrates freedom this Saturday on Juneteenth and invites you all to join in. So head over to MLSsoccer.com and check out how your team is celebrating freedom this Saturday. That does it for this episode of The Call Up. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Jillian Sakovitz.
I'm Susannah Collins. Happy Father's Day to all the daddies out there. We love you. Be nice about the gifts. Be nice about the gifts, y'all. What's up,
up, everybody? It is Susannah Collins and Jillian Sakovitz, co-hosts of The Call Up. And if you want more Call Up action, hit like and subscribe right here on YouTube, right there.
And also make sure that you download every episode of The Call Up every single Tuesday at 5 o'clock Eastern Time or anywhere that you get your podcasts. And while you're here, why not check out some of these other videos as well?